The Seven Kingdoms will bleed as long as Cersei sits on the Iron Throne. Join us. Together we can end her tyranny.
Okay, so today in the throne room, I want to thank you so much for joining me today. And I want to talk a little bit about what's going to happen when Sansa actually meets Daenerys Targaryen next season 8. Because this is definitely one of the things that people have been talking about. I'll let you in on a spoiler later about what may happen in season 8. But as of right now, there has been big talk about Age of Heroes, what era it's going to be in. So I'll be giving you some short updated news on that coming up a little bit later. But for right now, you'll have to actually check the next video on that one. But for right now, to talk more a little bit about Sophie Turner, who actually portrays Sansa Stark, she actually, in this case, has been a very slow learner. We all know that. You know, she didn't learn very quickly. But she has had a very good teacher, which is Littlefinger. And as we may know, Daenerys cannot stand Varys, but we will discuss that a little bit later in the weeks as we discuss all the other characters as we wrap up for season 8. We have plenty of time, of course. But for right now, let's go ahead and discuss Sansa Stark and what the meeting will be like, I think, in my eyes. What the mirror will look like when it is reflected back to what she's learned so far. You know, in this case, she's learned a lot from a lot of crazy people. And I don't think that she really likes the fact that Jon Snow is actually going to be with the Mother of Dragons. She's really concerned about that situation because I feel like in many senses it's like an uncontrollable power. And I don't think Sansa likes that very much, being that she has little or no power other than her name. I still think that same thing. She'll actually be very concerned about the fact that her brother Jon Snow is actually in a romantic relationship with Emilia Clarke, who portrays Daenerys Targaryen on the Game of Thrones on HBO. Now later in the series, we've seen that, you know, she's obviously ruthless enough to do a lot of sneaky stuff. Sneaky. So she will, I think, hatch a really secret plan, what she's learned from Littlefinger, obviously. But she won't be happy with the return of the couple. Because in this case, she won't be concerned about that. She'll just be too worried about her northern thoughts of, look, you know, this is Targaryen and look what they did. She's not so forgiving like Jon, so I think that it's great that he's ruling and not her, because she doesn't have the head for it. She's been through too much. Now, a lot of people don't think this, and I'm sorry, this might seem strange to you, but a lot of people think that Sansa could take down Daenerys in order to protect her family, or will she face Khaleesi out of spite? And I think it will happen both ways, you know, kind of. She may plan to do something because the other people will. They'll be like, all these dragons, you know, last time this happened, look what happened. And they'll be talking about the history books, as we know. Now, I think the issue is that there's too much ammunition against Daenerys Targaryen at this point. For one, she killed Samwell Tarly's father and brother. I'm sure she'll love to hear about that story. We also have Brienne of Tarth, and we also have, at the same time, she's going to meet Daenerys, and she's probably going to be like, wow, this is a hell of a woman. But Sansa won't. Sansa's like Cersei, and unfortunately, I hate to say this, but she's more like Cersei than anyone else. More than her, than like even her mother or father. Why? Because Cersei is who she's been learning from. As a teenager, whoever you're around at that point is kind of who molds you. And I'm not going to say that she's ultimately Cersei, but she has some issues here. First of all, she's been raped. She's been married to an imp. She's been, you know, in her aunt's house, almost killed. She's been, you know, tortured by Ramsay Bolton. She's ran away in the woods from Ramsay Bolton. She's ran for her life. She's hungered. She's been raped over and over again, and it's just sad, you know. And then also with Littlefinger, she's been manipulated in such a way she doesn't even know it's real. So after all that, there's a lot, but that's all that's happened to her, so she really doesn't trust many people. And I doubt very much, no matter how much Daenerys is a strong, beautiful woman, even if she likes her a little bit, she won't like her, and it's going to be a tug of war. Unfortunately for Sansa, I don't think Daenerys is going to really give a rat's ass about her, and she's going to just kind of like whatever. But at the same time, she is a strong woman, and she has to show her strength. She can't just go around letting the little Cersei, will say, because she's going to try to sabotage everything. But a lot of people think that Sansa might live up at the end of the Game of Thrones, at the ending, the final season. People think that she'll live through it all. Now, could she be the woman that sits on the ash throne? Maybe so, but maybe Littlefinger's dream will come true. It's just not him sitting on the throne. But ultimately, my thing is with Daenerys, she's a very strong woman. She has an army. I don't think there's too much she can do, even with the Vale there. Because unlike the Vale, the Dothraki are some great fighters, and they've never seen anything like that before. The bigger issue is she doesn't need to be worried about that. She needs to be worried about the Night King and what's to come to them, not about some woman that's come to protect and help them. But she's afraid of being conquered. And unfortunately, she's been conquered more than enough. So I can't blame Sansa for trying to protect her family. But I think it's going to be a very cold, harsh meeting. And unfortunately, a lot of people think in Game of Thrones Season 8 that Sansa may try to take down Daenerys Targaryen. Let me know what you think about this. I think kind of it might come true because Sansa's like kind of smart, but stupid at the same time. She's very slow, so I don't know if she can really hang with Daenerys when it comes to the mental wit, because Daenerys is a very intelligent woman. And she could learn a lot from her. I think Missandei might have to be that intermediary person to really get the job done. But we'll talk about that later. So in this case, my thing is Daenerys is definitely going to swat her off in the beginning, but she will to a point have to let her know, look, I'm queen.